Hey, nerdy sports fan, talking Week 11 NFL action. We've got the Dallas Cowboys going to visit the Detroit Lions this week. Because of injuries and how the front office has handled their situation this season in Detroit, I just think there's not much hope for them in this game. Matt Stafford's injury reporting was a little off last week. We kind of had it dropped on us that he wasn't going to start, and that was surprising. He was listed as questionable, and they didn't really talk about him being any sort of injury risk until very late in the week. And he had such a long streak of consecutive starts, you don't necessarily assume that he's going to sit out, even if he seems a little dinged up. They already lost Kerryon Johnson, their best running back. Stafford might still be out. It's not looking good. All right? They lost last week because they're starting a no-name at quarterback, Dietrich or whoever he is. It doesn't matter. They have talent. They're just hurt. And their defense has been inconsistent. So, against the Dallas Cowboys team, coming off a tough loss at home to Minnesota, I think they're just going to be fired up, and they're going to smell blood in the water with the Lions. Ezekiel Elliott doesn't really have much to worry about in front of him. As far as rushing yards allowed, they're pretty bad in Detroit, giving up 130 yards a game. Passing yards allowed aren't much better. Almost 300 yards allowed a game. So I would expect Amari Cooper, Dak Prescott, and Ezekiel Elliott all to have serious bounce-back games where they just dominate the stat sheet. The Dallas defense needs to be started in this game for fantasy football. They're solid defense. They really are. They gave up some points last week because Minnesota's a damn good offensive team. It's just not the case right now in Detroit. Too many people are hurt. So I expect Dallas's defense to take advantage of that. Make some turnovers. Get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Detroit's offensive line is pretty abysmal. And I think Dallas can take advantage of that. They're going to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. That can turn into sacks. That can turn into turnovers very easily. And, with no Kerryon Johnson in the lineup, they've got nothing really to keep the defensive line honest. So this is going to be a very one-sided game. As far as fantasy starts on the Detroit side, everything's boom or bust for the wide receivers. In a game like this, you want to focus on garbage time, because it's a thing. And with an up-tempo offense, anybody can miracle a few long plays together. And Galladay and Marvin Jones are the kind of receivers that can definitely make something happen in those situations. I think they're both high-risk players. I think they have high ceilings, though. Galladay in particular. I would still start Galladay. I'd put Marvin Jones on the bench until Stafford is fully healthy and back in the lineup. So it very much depends on Stafford's status, and we can't necessarily trust the injury reporting because last week they were pretty crap about it. Galladay and Marvin Jones are must-starts if Stafford's healthy. They're high-risk plays if he's not. Keep an eye on that. Game time decision for 3 different players there. So if you have a lot of Lions on your fantasy team, I'm sorry. You're going to have to get up early on Sunday and be sure you can even put them in the lineup. So have a backup plan ready. For whatever reason, Christian Kirk was available last week in a high percentage. He's still available in some leagues, so pick him up if you can. But yeah, you've got to look into the wide receivers to supplement. I suggest John Brown or Cole Beasley from the Bills. The Bills tend to get ignored in fantasy football, and both of those guys get a healthy amount of targets and can definitely turn in a good game if either one of them gets into the end zone. So as far as Lions in the fantasy football realm, I'm shying away from them until I figure out what's going on with Matt Stafford. The Cowboys, you're starting all of the usual suspects, and Michael Gallup is a stream-worthy player. If you desperately need a wide receiver to put in there, Michael Gallup's a strong option. When he's healthy, he can turn 4 or 5 catches into 100-plus yards and a touchdown any given week. He's a very good deep threat player, and Dak Prescott actually gets him the ball a few times a game. That's always good. So as far as the line, there's not one advertised right now for this game. I think it's largely because of the questions surrounding Matt Stafford's injury. I've got the Cowboys by 12 to 15 if Stafford's out. I got the Cowboys by more like 6 if he's healthy. So check out the rest of the videos for more fantasy football advice, and hit up the Nerdy Sports Fan Weekly for more general league news and what's going on this week.